Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt, is this really who I am? What if I told you that the way you see yourself is not fixed and that you can transform it completely from this very moment? What if the image you carry inside your mind is the doorway to the life you've always wanted? Today, I will show you the path to unlock your true self-image and with it, the power to live with unshakable confidence and clarity. I promise that by the end of this teaching, you will understand not only how to transform your self-image, but also how to carry that transformation into every decision, every action, and every relationship, so you can walk through life with the strength and clarity of your true self. This is wisdom you can feel, embody, and live every day. 1. Self-perception shapes reality. Close your eyes for a moment, breathe deeply. Feel the rise and fall of your chest, the subtle rhythm of your heartbeat. This rhythm is the song of your inner world, a world often unnoticed, yet it orchestrates every thought, every movement, every decision you make. Imagine for a moment that your self-perception, the way you see yourself, is like a lens, a filter through which all experiences must pass. That lens can either sharpen the colors of your life, making everything vivid, full, and alive, or it can cloud them, turning your days into shadows and echoes. Every human being carries within them a self-image. It is not merely a reflection of what you see in a mirror, but a deep internal architecture, an intricate structure formed by memories, beliefs, experiences, and subtle whispers you have absorbed from the world. This structure silently dictates how you respond to life, how you interact with others, and even how opportunities appear before you. Consider this. If your self-image is limited, if it is constricted by fear, doubt, or outdated beliefs, then your world will appear equally limited. It is not the circumstances that bind you, it is the perception of yourself. If you see yourself as small, inadequate, or unworthy, the universe aligns itself to reflect that image back to you. And yet, if you cultivate an image of courage, of strength, of inner worth, every encounter, every challenge, every choice will unfold in alignment with that vision. Self-perception shapes reality, because reality is not separate from you. It is a reflection of your inner landscape. When you hold yourself as capable, wise, and resilient, the world bends to meet that presence. This is not magic, it is the law of alignment. Your perception does not merely observe the world, it calls it into being. Pause. Feel the weight of that truth. Ask yourself quietly, what lens am I looking through today? Is it clear, sharp, radiant, or is it clouded by the fears of yesterday? And as you feel this question deep within, know that the journey to reshape your perception is not about forcing change in the outer world. It is about tuning the inner lens. Every thought, every belief, every silent self-judgment is a thread in the tapestry of your reality. Pull one thread, and the entire weave begins to shift. Pull many, and a new world emerges. The first step, then, is awareness. Awareness of how you see yourself and how that perception manifests in the world. And as awareness grows, a subtle, almost imperceptible transformation begins. A quiet unfolding of power within you. But awareness alone is not enough. To step fully into the reality of your potential, you must first confront what you say to yourself every day. 2. Awareness is the first step. Awareness is like the first light of dawn. Before the sun rises fully, there is a quiet illumination. A gentle glow that exposes the contours of the landscape. So it is with your inner world. You cannot begin to transform your self-image without first seeing it clearly. You must become the witness of your own mind, observing the thoughts, judgments, and beliefs that have been unconsciously guiding your life. Begin to notice the subtle conversations in your mind. What do you tell yourself when no one is listening? When a mistake is made, do you whisper, "I am not enough," or do you acknowledge, "I am learning, I am growing"? Awareness begins with noticing these inner dialogues. these echoes that have been shaping your identity for years. There is power in observation. The moment you notice a thought, it loses its grip over you. Awareness is the bridge between unconscious habit and conscious choice. The thoughts that once controlled your actions can now be seen for what they are: fleeting, changeable, and ultimately under your influence. But awareness requires patience. It is not a flash of insight, but a continuous, deliberate attention to the flow of your mind. You watch your fears, your insecurities, your self-doubt as though they are clouds passing across the sky. You do not cling, you do not judge. You simply observe. And in this observation, a subtle shift occurs. You begin to see that you are not your thoughts. You are the space in which thoughts arise. You are not defined by the judgments that have haunted you since childhood. You are the silent awareness behind all perception, the witness to your life. This awareness is not only the first step, it is the foundation upon which transformation is built. Without it, every attempt to improve your self-image will be like trying to sculpt with your eyes closed. Awareness opens your eyes. Awareness shows the gaps, the distortions, the places where your self-perception has been limited or false. And once you see these gaps, the next step becomes inevitable, transforming the dialogue you have with yourself. For the self-image that governs your life is a story, and every story can be rewritten. But before the pen can touch the paper, the eyes must first read the lines as they are. Awareness gives you that vision, the map of where you stand and the possibilities that lie ahead. And as this realization settles, you sense the subtle power of words, the very words you speak to yourself. For the mind listens, even in silence, to the whispers you repeat. And these whispers will soon take form in the world you walk through, free. Inner dialogue matters. Every thought you nurture is like a seed planted in the fertile soil of your mind. Some thoughts grow into trees of strength and wisdom, while others sprout as weeds of doubt and limitation. Your inner dialogue is the conversation you carry with yourself, the silent script that runs beneath every action, every decision, every encounter. Notice the tone of your inner voice. Is it harsh, critical, demanding? Or is it gentle, encouraging, patient? For the mind does not distinguish between truth and fiction. It responds to tone, repetition, and belief. If you continually tell yourself that you are incapable, the mind accepts it as reality. If you speak with affirmation and courage, the mind aligns with possibility. This dialogue is not mere positive thinking. It is the fundamental language of your self-image. Every affirmation, every word of self-compassion, every recognition of your own value is a thread that weaves a stronger, more resilient identity. And every negative, self-limiting phrase loosens that weave, allowing fear and doubt to take root. The inner dialogue is subtle. It occurs in moments when no one is watching. It is the quiet thought that rises when you hesitate, the small voice that comments on your appearance, your choices, your abilities. Yet it is this quiet voice that shapes your external reality more than any external force ever could. Begin to listen, not to judge, but to hear. Hear the tone, hear the patterns, hear the beliefs that have unconsciously dictated your life. And then, like a master gardener, begin to prune. Replace self-criticism with self-understanding. Replace doubt with inquiry. Replace limitation with possibility. Each word you speak internally reshapes the architecture of your self-perception. Inner dialogue matters because it is the invisible sculptor of your reality. Your thoughts, your words, your beliefs, they are the hands that mold the clay of your being. Change the conversation within, and the world around you will inevitably follow. And as you begin this transformation of dialogue, you notice the subtle connection between thought and action, between perception and behavior. Every word you speak to yourself is a bridge between who you are now and who you can become. This bridge leads to the recognition that self-image is not static. It is fluid, alive, and capable of profound change. And as this truth resonates, you sense the next step quietly forming on the horizon. The realization that seeing clearly, observing mindfully, and speaking wisely to yourself will naturally lead to the creation of a new identity. One that can stand with strength, clarity, and unshakable presence in the world. 4. Visualize your ideal self. Close your eyes. Draw your attention inward. In the stillness of your mind, see a version of yourself unbound by doubt, free from fear, radiant in your strength and clarity. This is not mere imagination. It is a rehearsal for your reality. The mind does not differentiate between vivid internal experience and external occurrence. When you visualize, you are planting seeds in the fertile soil of possibility. Visualizing your ideal self is more than picturing success, more than imagining confidence or beauty. It is seeing the essence of who you truly are, unshackled by limitation. It is sensing the alignment of your values, your actions, and your deepest desires. Every detail matters. The way you carry yourself, the calm in your voice, the light in your eyes. Hold this vision clearly. Feel it not as a distant dream, but as an inevitable truth waiting to be embodied. The power of visualization lies in its ability to rewire your mind, repeatedly seeing yourself as strong, capable, and radiant programs your subconscious to align your actions with that vision. Thoughts, behaviors, and habits begin to flow in harmony with the self you choose to become. Every choice you make begins to honor that internal image. Notice the subtle energy that arises as you visualize. It is magnetic. It draws circumstances, people, and opportunities into alignment with your inner vision. Visualization is a call to the universe, a declaration of your intention to embody your highest self. It is the first conscious step in the alchemy of transformation, yet seeing alone is not enough. Visualization must be paired with action. It must be grounded in repetition, in the subtle, patient cultivation of your character. And as you embrace this vision, you will feel a subtle stirring within, a quiet pull that asks, how can I begin to embody this truth, step by step, moment by moment? And as this question awakens, you sense the rhythm of your body, the posture, the breath, and the movement that carry this vision into reality. The bridge from imagination to embodiment leads naturally into the next realm, where every motion, every gesture, every stance becomes a mirror of your inner strength. 5. Body language influences mind. Stand or sit and become aware of your posture. The subtle curves of your spine, the lift of your chest, the placement of your feet, the alignment of your hands. These are not mere mechanics. They are the language of your inner world, speaking silently to your mind and to all who encounter you. Body language is a conduit between the physical and the psychological, a mirror that reflects and shapes the state of your self-image. Observe how a simple adjustment in posture can shift your mood. Straighten your spine, open your chest, relax your shoulders. Feel the subtle activation in your mind, the sense of courage, clarity, and presence that arises simply from alignment. Your body does not merely respond to your mind, it instructs it. When the body signals strength, the mind aligns with that strength. This is why warriors, leaders, and sages alike have understood that posture is power. The way you move, the way you breathe, the way you hold space in the world, these are not trivial, they are declarations of who you are becoming. A confident stance calls forth confidence from within. A composed gesture cultivates calm in the mind. A relaxed presence fosters clarity and discernment. Pay attention to the subtleties. The tilt of the head, the positioning of the hands, the rhythm of your steps. Each nuance is an imprint on the psyche, a reinforcement of your inner narrative. Your body is both instrument and teacher, guiding you to embody the self you have visualized. And as you cultivate this harmony between body and mind, notice how your interactions with the world begin to shift. The energy you project transforms the way others perceive you, reflecting back the power of your inner alignment. The subtle language of your body prepares you to move intentionally through life, creating a bridge to the next essential step, the consistency of practice that transforms transient gestures into enduring identity. 6. Consistency builds identity. Consistency is the quiet force that turns vision into reality. It is not in grand declarations or fleeting bursts of effort that transformation occurs, but in the steady, deliberate repetition of aligned action. Every morning you rise, every decision you make, every thought you entertain is a thread weaving the fabric of who you are. Consistency binds these threads into a coherent, unshakable identity. Consider the small actions that may seem insignificant: practicing presence for 5 minutes, choosing courage over fear, speaking words of affirmation, aligning posture with intention. Alone, these may feel like whispers, but repeated day after day, they become the architecture of your self-image. They shape the neural pathways of your mind, embedding habits that define your reality. Consistency is patience in motion. It honors the process rather than the outcome, trusting that transformation is a slow unfolding. It teaches the mind, the body, and the spirit that reliability is power, that small, deliberate acts build mountains within. Identity is not an accident. It is cultivated with unwavering attention. Like a sculptor shaping a block of marble through careful, repeated strokes. Notice the rhythm of your actions. Observe the alignment between your inner vision, your body language, and your choices. Each repetition reinforces the story you tell yourself about who you are. Consistency does not mean rigidity. It means devotion to your truth, a disciplined flow that integrates mind, body, and spirit into a living whole. And in this devotion, you will discover subtle signs of transformation, moments of ease in challenges, clarity in decisions, a magnetic presence in interactions. These are the markers that your identity is strengthening, becoming coherent and undeniable. Each day of faithful practice is a step along the bridge from who you were to who you are becoming. As consistency takes root, it opens the doorway to a deeper question: how can the deliberate, repeated acts of alignment guide every relationship, every interaction, every choice? How does the self you are becoming ripple outward into the world, shaping not only your life, but the lives around you? The answer is waiting quietly, ready to emerge as the next stage of your journey, where release, observation, and understanding merge to create profound inner freedom. 7. Let go of past labels. Take a deep breath. Allow your mind to wander gently to the memories of your past, the judgments, the criticisms, the names others have whispered or imposed upon you. Feel the weight of them. Sense how they have settled like dust upon your shoulders, shaping the way you move, the way you speak, the way you see yourself. These labels, given long ago, were never truly yours. They are borrowed opinions, fragments of perception from minds that, like yours, were limited, afraid, searching. Consider how often these labels have whispered in your ear. Not enough, too much, weak, incapable, unworthy. Feel the subtle impact of each one, how it has guided your choices, created hesitation, perhaps even shaped your self-image without your conscious awareness. And yet, the truth is clear. They hold no power unless you grant it to them. To let go of past labels is to reclaim authority over your own identity. It is to step from the shadows of others' judgments into the light of your own self-knowing. Observe each label as it rises, acknowledge its presence, and release it. See it as a leaf drifting on a river. Notice it, allow it to float, and let it pass. The river of your being continues to flow, unhindered by the debris of past opinions. This process is not quick, nor is it easy. It requires gentle courage, the kind that whispers, "I am more than what others say I am." Every moment you practice this, you dissolve the old constructs that have held your energy captive. Every act of release creates space for your true essence to emerge. Notice the freedom in the body as each label falls away. Shoulders loosen, chest opens, breath deepens. This is the subtle language of liberation. And as you experience this lightness, you sense the bridge to the next awakening. Awareness not just of what is leaving, but of what remains. The still, quiet, infinite presence of your own self, waiting to be fully known. 8. Mindfulness strengthens presence. Sit quietly and become aware of this moment. Feel the weight of your body, the rhythm of your breath, the subtle hum of life within and around you. Mindfulness is the act of stepping fully into the now, of experiencing each instant with unclouded clarity. It is a discipline of attention that strengthens presence, anchoring you to the eternal unfolding of life rather than to the illusions of past or future. Presence is the currency of power. When you are mindful, you are no longer scattered, no longer pulled by the chains of judgment, fear, or distraction. You inhabit yourself fully. Every thought, every feeling, every action arises with deliberate awareness. This is the foundation of inner strength, for a mind that is rooted in the now cannot be shaken by external chaos. Notice how your thoughts drift. Observe them without judgment. They are like clouds passing across a vast sky. Awareness is the sky. The thoughts are transient. By noticing them, you prevent them from hijacking your energy. You reclaim the power of observation, the ability to choose your focus, the capacity to respond rather than react. Through mindfulness, the self-image solidifies. You begin to see yourself clearly, not through the lens of past labels or fears, but as a living, breathing presence. You understand the contours of your mind, the tendencies of your heart, the rhythm of your spirit. Presence is not a static state, it is a dynamic flow, a dialogue between awareness and life itself. And as your presence strengthens, subtle shifts occur. Interactions with others become more conscious, decisions more aligned, moments richer in depth and clarity. You begin to inhabit your life fully, no longer fragmented by doubt or distraction. Each moment of mindfulness is a building block in the architecture of your true self. And as you anchor into this awareness, the next layer emerges, the cultivation of gratitude, a force that mirrors and amplifies presence. For it is not enough to be aware, the quality of what you attend to shapes the very nature of your self-image. 9. Gratitude reflects worth. Turn your attention inward and notice the gifts already present in your life. Each breath, each heartbeat, each opportunity, each relationship carries a subtle message. You are worthy. Gratitude is the lens through which the soul recognizes abundance. It is not merely a polite acknowledgement, it is a profound alignment with the truth of your existence. When you cultivate gratitude, the mind shifts its focus from scarcity to sufficiency, from fear to appreciation. Gratitude is a mirror. It reflects back to you the inherent value you have always carried. By consciously noticing what is good, what is supportive, what nurtures your growth, you reinforce your self-image as someone deserving, capable, and radiant. Begin with small acts. Each morning, acknowledge one aspect of yourself, one gift from life, one moment of connection. Let your mind linger on these without rush. Feel them in your body, sense them in your energy. Gratitude deepens presence, strengthens awareness, and transforms the landscape of thought from limitation to empowerment. Notice how your posture shifts as gratitude flows. Notice how your thoughts soften, how your inner dialogue becomes gentle and supportive. Each act of recognition is a reinforcement of self-worth, a subtle yet powerful recalibration of identity. The mind, body, and spirit converge in a quiet acknowledgement. I am enough, I am whole, I am capable of growth and transformation. Gratitude does more than reflect your worth, it projects it outward. The energy you carry ripples into the world, touching others, creating resonance, opening doors that were previously unseen. It is the seed from which authentic confidence grows, the water that nourishes the roots of self-image, and as the heart opens to gratitude, the next truth becomes inevitable: self-compassion. For to honor the gifts of life and the strengths within is also to embrace your imperfections with gentleness, to speak to yourself with the same wisdom that recognizes value and nurtures growth. 10. Self-compassion is key. Breathe deeply and turn your awareness inward. Sense the subtle voice within, the one that has been quietly judging, criticizing, questioning. Now imagine embracing that voice with kindness. Self-compassion is not indulgence, it is the conscious choice to honor your humanity, to treat yourself with the same wisdom and gentleness you would offer to another. For too long, many have believed that harshness breeds growth, that self-criticism fuels effort. Yet the truth is different. True strength emerges not from punishment, but from understanding. When the mind is softened by compassion, it opens to learning, to change, to the possibility of becoming. When the heart forgives its own mistakes, it becomes lighter, more fluid, more capable of resilience. Notice the tension in your body, the shoulders tight with past failures, the chest constricted by judgment. Let each exhale release a layer of that burden. Imagine speaking softly to yourself. It is enough to be learning. It is enough to be human. It is enough to take this step today. With each repetition, you build a foundation of trust in yourself, a space from which courage and clarity arise naturally. Self-compassion is a quiet revolution. It dismantles the walls built by fear, comparison, and doubt. It reminds you that imperfection is not a weakness, but a doorway to growth. It is the soil in which the seeds of authentic self-image take root. As you cultivate this tenderness, you notice a subtle shift. The voice of judgment is no longer commanding. It is observed, understood, and gently guided toward alignment with truth. And as you feel this warmth and acceptance, the next movement naturally arises: action. For when you honor yourself with compassion, the energy to move forward becomes effortless. The path opens for decisive steps, no longer constrained by fear or hesitation, leading to the awakening of momentum that bridges thought and reality. 11. Action. Before motivation, feel the quiet pulse of life beneath your awareness. Motivation is fleeting, a spark that appears, often unpredictably. Waiting for motivation is waiting for the wind to carry you. Action, however, is the current you create yourself. It is the deliberate movement that transforms intention into reality, that solidifies vision into living truth. Notice the small acts you can take now. Not tomorrow, not when the conditions are perfect, but now. Every step, no matter how tiny, builds momentum. Each movement reverberates within your mind, reshaping neural pathways, aligning thought and behavior, turning potential into substance. Action is a teacher. It teaches the mind that progress is possible, that change is tangible, that inner courage is real. Motivation follows action, not the other way around. As you commit to movement, you generate energy that lifts, propels, and expands. The world begins to respond. Opportunities emerge. Confidence solidifies. The invisible scaffolding of your self-image becomes visible through deeds. Pause and feel the subtle tension that arises when you resist action. It is the echo of fear, doubt, hesitation. Lean into it. Step anyway. With each deliberate act, the voice of limitation weakens, and the voice of possibility strengthens. The body remembers competence, the mind remembers courage, and the spirit remembers freedom. Action before motivation is the rhythm of transformation. It teaches that empowerment is not found, it is created in each step, each choice, each breath. As you act, momentum grows, and the next truth becomes visible. The environment, the people you surround yourself with, mirrors and magnifies the energy you cultivate. They either reinforce your elevation or tether you to old patterns, creating the subtle matrix in which your self-image continues to evolve. 12. Surround yourself with mirrors of growth. Look around. Consider the company you keep, the spaces you inhabit, the conversations you engage in. These are mirrors of your inner state. They reflect back the energy, values, and self-image you carry. Surrounding yourself with growth is not about judgment, exclusion, or separation. It is about alignment. It is about choosing reflection that inspires elevation rather than diminishes your light. Notice the subtle energy that arises when you are with those who embody curiosity, courage, integrity, and purpose. Their presence resonates with your potential, amplifies your confidence, and mirrors the version of yourself you are striving to become. Conversely, toxic or stagnant environments drain vitality, cloud perception, and reinforce doubt. Awareness of these mirrors allows conscious choice in shaping the context of your life. Each relationship, each engagement, each connection becomes a tool for refinement. Observe which energies lift you, which challenge you constructively, which deepen your understanding of self. Engage with those that honor growth, both yours and theirs. The world is not a place to conquer, but a reflection to navigate. As you curate your mirrors, your inner self-image is reinforced through resonance, reflection, and subtle alignment. Notice the dance between environment and self. The people, spaces, and energies you absorb influence thoughts, habits, and beliefs, often more than effort alone can achieve. Surrounding yourself with mirrors of growth accelerates transformation, shaping the mind, body, and spirit in harmony. And as you recognize the power of these reflections, the next layer emerges. The subtle, quiet work of observing and quieting the inner critic, allowing your self-image to crystallize into an unshakable, luminous truth. 13. Silence the inner critic. Sit quietly. Let the breath deepen. Become aware of the subtle voice within, the one that judges, doubts, and whispers that you are not enough. This inner critic has spoken for years, sometimes softly, sometimes like a thunderous storm. It has influenced choices, silenced ambition, and whispered limitations into the corners of your mind. And yet, the critic exists only in perception. It has no power other than the attention you give it. Begin to observe it without fear. Notice the tone, the cadence, the repetitive nature of its statements. Each word is a fragment of conditioned belief, often inherited from past experiences, sometimes borrowed from others, sometimes fabricated by your own mind. You are not this voice. You are the awareness that notices it, the still presence that watches it rise and fall like waves on the ocean. Silencing the critic is not suppression. It is acknowledgement without attachment. Let it speak, and then allow it to dissolve into the vastness of your awareness. Each moment you notice it and refrain from reaction, the grip it has over your energy loosens. You begin to reclaim authority over thought, to decide which beliefs you carry forward and which you release into the wind. Notice the subtle shift in your body as this critic loses its weight. Shoulders relax, breath deepens, chest opens, space emerges between thought and self, and in that space, freedom arises. This is the sacred pause, the place where power begins to regenerate, where clarity begins to form. In silence, you reconnect with the essence of your being, the unshakable presence that no judgment can touch. As the inner critic fades into observation, a new clarity appears, the alignment of spirit and mind. When judgment is quieted, insight can flow unimpeded. The mind is no longer fragmented, the heart no longer burdened, and the spirit begins to resonate with its own innate wisdom. This alignment is subtle yet profound, the foundation upon which every authentic self-image is built. 14. Align spirit and mind. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breath. Sense the subtle energy that moves within. The quiet pulse that links thought, feeling, and intention. Alignment of spirit and mind is the delicate art of bringing the inner world into harmony. It is not control, it is resonance. It is the conscious choice to ensure that what you think, what you feel, and what you intend moves as one, flowing seamlessly through every action. Notice the tensions within. Perhaps your mind desires one path while the heart whispers another. Perhaps beliefs rooted in fear pull against your deepest knowing. These misalignments create internal friction, consuming energy, clouding clarity, and diminishing the strength of self-perception. Alignment requires honesty, introspection, and courage. It requires listening deeply to the subtle currents of intuition and truth that flow beneath surface thought. Begin with awareness. Observe where thought and intention diverge. Gently trace the root of each discrepancy. Ask silently, what is fear telling me? And what is truth whispering? Observe without judgment. Let the insights emerge naturally, like the sun breaking through clouds. As awareness deepens, take deliberate steps to harmonize your thoughts with your values and your actions with your intentions. Feel the resonance that arises as mind and spirit converge. It is subtle, like the vibration of a finely tuned instrument. Energy flows more freely, decision-making becomes clearer, and the self-image you hold becomes more robust, more grounded, more radiant. When the inner compass aligns, external life follows naturally. The energy of integrity radiates outward, influencing choices, relationships, and experiences. Alignment is not a destination. It is a continuous practice, a subtle dance between reflection and action. Each moment of recalibration strengthens presence, enhances intuition, and deepens understanding. Through this alignment, the inner voice gains coherence, actions gain intentionality, and the self-image becomes a living, breathing reflection of authentic being. And as mind and spirit align, energy begins to follow focus. This is the next truth to embrace. The subtle power of directing your inner and outer energy with precision, intention, and clarity. For without focus, even alignment cannot manifest fully in the outer world. 15. Energy follows focus. Close your eyes, inhale deeply. Feel the pulse of life beneath your awareness, the subtle currents that move unseen yet shape every thought, every action, every breath. Energy is not random, it is intention made visible. And focus is the compass that directs it. Wherever attention flows, energy gathers. Wherever the mind lingers, the heart follows. Notice how scattered attention creates fatigue, confusion, and tension. Thoughts flit like restless birds. Decisions feel heavy, effort seems wasted, and presence becomes thin, diluted. This is the nature of unfocused energy, a power diffused, unanchored, incapable of manifesting strength. Yet when focus is cultivated, energy becomes precise, coherent, and irresistible. It moves like a river, unbroken, shaping the landscape of life with quiet, unstoppable force. Focus is the mastery of attention. It is not merely concentration on the obvious, it is the deliberate alignment of thought, emotion, and intention toward the chosen direction. Observe what commands your attention unconsciously. Are your energies drawn to fear, doubt, regret, or distraction? Acknowledge this without judgment. Awareness itself begins the process of redirection. When you bring consciousness to the present moment and deliberately choose where your attention rests, energy follows naturally. Small tasks performed with presence are more potent than monumental actions performed in distraction. Every thought you entertain, every image you hold, every word you speak inwardly contributes to the alignment of energy. Energy follows focus because the universe responds to clarity. The more coherent the mind, the more powerful the influence. Focus acts like a lens, concentrating diffuse energy into a beam capable of transformation. It strengthens will, deepens understanding, and amplifies presence. It is the invisible hand that shapes reality according to the contours of your inner self-image. And as this clarity settles, subtle shifts occur in perception, in movement, in the way the body inhabits space. Presence becomes magnetic, decisions become deliberate, and action flows naturally from intention. But focus alone is not enough. It requires discipline, a continuous, gentle commitment that anchors energy over time. This leads naturally to the next understanding. Discipline creates freedom. For without repeated conscious effort, even focused energy drifts into chaos. 16. Discipline creates freedom. As with the weight of that thought, discipline may seem like constraint, restriction, limitation, yet paradoxically, it is the gateway to liberation. Discipline is the structured flow of effort, intention, and practice. It is the vessel through which focus is maintained, energy is harnessed, and potential is actualized. Without discipline, clarity dissipates. Without repeated practice, alignment falters. Without intention embodied, transformation remains a dream. Consider the life of the mind and body as a garden. Discipline is the consistent tending of the soil, the daily nurturing of seeds, the removal of weeds that would suffocate growth. Every small intentional act compounds. Every repetition strengthens structure, shapes character, and ingrains patterns of strength and presence into the very fabric of being. Discipline creates freedom because it releases the mind from chaos. It is the anchor that holds energy steady in the midst of distraction. It is the scaffolding upon which vision is realized. A disciplined mind does not rely on fleeting motivation, nor does it flinch from challenge. It moves steadily toward purpose, transforming effort into mastery, repetition into instinct, and alignment into effortless action. Feel the subtle tension that releases as discipline is embraced. The body grows capable, the mind grows focused, the spirit grows confident. Freedom emerges not from the absence of structure, but from the mastery of it. Like a river flowing within its banks, energy is contained, directed, and infinitely more powerful. Discipline allows for deliberate choice. It creates space where fear and doubt once ruled, replacing uncertainty with predictable, reliable, deliberate growth. It is the daily practice, the patient repetition, the quiet fortitude that transforms potential into actual and vision into lived reality. And as discipline strengthens, resilience emerges naturally. Every challenge becomes a teacher, every obstacle a mirror, every failure a refinement. The freedom born of discipline is not casual, it is enduring. It is the freedom to embody your true self, to move through life with clarity, courage, and unshakable presence. This leads to the next layer of growth. Resilience transforms perception. The disciplined mind, body, and spirit face challenges not with fear, but with insight. Every difficulty becomes a mirror of inner strength, and every trial becomes an opportunity to reinforce the self-image that has been carefully cultivated through awareness, focus, and practice. 17. Resilience transforms perception. Close your eyes. Draw the awareness inward. Sense the subtle rhythms of your body, the quiet pulse of breath, the stillness that lies beneath the turbulence of thought. Life presents challenges, moments of uncertainty, hardship, and disappointment. These moments are inevitable. They arrive unbidden, like storms across a calm sea. And yet, it is not the storm that defines the journey, but the response to it. This is where resilience is born. Resilience is not merely enduring. It is not a passive acceptance of what happens. It is an active transformation of perception, a conscious choice to interpret events not as obstacles, but as mirrors reflecting your inner strength. Notice the mind's natural tendency to label difficulties as failure, limitations, or injustice. Observe how these interpretations create tension, contraction, and fear. Pause and breathe deeply. Imagine shifting your gaze, seeing the challenge not as a weight, but as a teacher, a sculptor, a mirror of untapped potential. Resilience transforms perception by showing that every hardship is an opportunity to deepen presence, sharpen clarity, and refine character. With resilience, obstacles do not diminish you, they reveal your capacity, or resourcefulness, your courage. Consider the patterns of your mind in adversity. Notice the impulse to resist, to blame, to retreat. Now sense a subtle alternative: to remain centered, to observe without judgment, to respond rather than react. In this stillness, perception shifts, fear softens, doubt quiets, and clarity emerges. The challenge becomes a lens through which the contours of your strength, your discipline, and your inner wisdom are magnified. Resilience is cultivated, moment by moment, breath by breath. It is reinforced through disciplined action, focused energy, and mindful presence. Every small recovery, every conscious choice to act with integrity in the face of adversity strengthens the self-image, embedding unshakable confidence and grounded power deep within. Notice the subtle transformation. The same event that once elicited fear now invokes insight. The same interaction that once triggered doubt now becomes a reflection of inner mastery. Resilience alters perception because it rewrites the internal narrative, turning what was once limitation into possibility, what was once uncertainty into clarity. And as perception transforms, the mind and spirit align more fully. Energy flows with intention, actions gain coherence, and the self-image becomes increasingly luminous, resilient, and magnetic. From this space of strength, the final truth emerges. The self-image you cultivate is not merely a reflection of circumstance, it is your superpower. The journey leads naturally into the realization of ultimate self-mastery. 18. Your self-image is your superpower. Sit quietly and feel the entirety of your being. Every thought, every habit, every belief, every breath has contributed to the architecture of who you are. Your self-image, the lens through which you see yourself and the world, is more than perception. It is a force, a current, a magnet that shapes our reality. It is your superpower. The power of self-image lies in its subtlety. It is not announced with fanfare, it is felt in presence, expressed in action, and observed in the ripple of influence across every encounter. A strong, positive self-image does not impose itself. It emanates quietly, commanding respect, drawing opportunity, and shaping circumstance without struggle. Notice the mind's landscape now. Observe the thoughts that have arisen during this reflection. The recognition of value, strength, and clarity forms the core of your inner authority. This authority does not come from external validation. It comes from alignment with truth, discipline, focus, resilience, compassion, and awareness, cultivated through deliberate practice. Self-image is a living entity. It is nurtured through visualization, disciplined action, mindful presence, compassionate understanding, and conscious choice. Every moment of attention, every act of courage, every embrace of possibility strengthens this entity. It becomes more than a reflection. It becomes a source of energy, clarity, and influence in the world. Understand that the universe responds to self-image. Your interactions, your opportunities, your relationships, and your experiences are drawn to the frequency of the identity you carry. A confident, aligned, resilient self-image attracts situations, people, and outcomes that reflect that power. Conversely, a fragmented, uncertain, or limited self-image manifests as hesitation, missed opportunities, and diminished presence. Feel the integration of all that has been cultivated: awareness, mindfulness, gratitude, discipline, focus, resilience. Each thread weaves into a coherent, luminous identity. Your self-image is no longer a passive reflection of circumstance. It is an active, creative force that shapes reality according to the inner vision you have consciously cultivated. This is the ultimate truth. The mastery of self-image is mastery over life itself. The clarity of vision, the steadiness of presence, the alignment of mind, body, and spirit, and the resilience cultivated in the face of challenge coalesce into a superpower, your superpower. It is quiet yet undeniable, subtle yet transformative, internal yet radiating outward to shape every aspect of existence. And as this recognition settles, allow the breath to deepen. Feel the magnitude of what has been uncovered. The self you cultivate from this point forward is no longer bound by past labels, doubt, or limitation. It moves with intention, clarity, and power. Your presence becomes magnetic. Your choices become aligned. Your life becomes a mirror of the strength, clarity, and radiance that originates from within. The journey from awareness to alignment, from discipline to resilience, has led to this moment. Understanding that self-image is not simply who you see in the mirror, it is the source of your influence, the lens of your reality, the foundation of your power, and the expression of your highest potential. Every thought, every habit, every choice you make henceforth feeds this superpower, allowing it to grow, expand, and shape the life you are destined to live. As you step into the fullness of this understanding, recognize that every thought, every choice, every breath is an opportunity to shape the self that governs your reality. The journey from awareness to alignment, from compassion to resilience, from focused energy to disciplined action, has revealed a profound truth. Your self-image is not merely a reflection of circumstance, it is the wellspring of your power, the anchor of your presence, and the architect of your destiny. When cultivated with intention, it transforms fear into courage, doubt into clarity, and limitation into possibility. Carry this awareness with steadfast devotion, for within the clarity of your self-image lies the power to navigate life with unshakable strength, radiant purpose, and the quiet certainty of a spirit aligned with its highest potential.